like to call the meeting to order. The Board of Leavenworth County Commission would like to ask everyone to stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. For the record, all three commissioners are present. I'd like to open up the meeting with public comment. Anyone from the public wishing to speak, please come forward, state your name and address.
Hello, I'm Amy Salazar, and my address is 21035 179th Street. And I am speaking on behalf of my road. I understand and I appreciate, first of all, I wanted to appreciate all of you and all your work. I know it goes unappreciated, very much so, because I know as a public servant myself, we do a lot of things, and I just want to tell you I appreciate you. I just want to know kind of the status of our the road. I've kind of been calling off and on during the year, and it should have been. We were going to have an eminent domain hearing. It should have been started in January, the eminent domain, and we should have actually started the road about March, as we had pretty much everything ready. We had the plans ready. Pretty much just the eminent domain hearing is what we're waiting on now. To move forward with the moving of the utilities. We have been in contact. I know myself, I've talked to Mr. Smith, and also been very closely in contact with Mr. Luchin. My neighbor Deborah Lowe has been in contact with, had been in contact with Molly. I don't know her last name. I know she was a Homer County counselor. And she had said the last we knew, we kind of let it go because it was supposed to, we were kind of wondering what was going on because we haven't heard, no progress has been made. The last in May, we had been in contact with her, and we were supposed to have a June 19th. That was, of course, it should have been done a lot sooner than that because we should have already pretty much had the road almost done by June 19th. But the last hearing date was June 19th. We emailed her and didn't get a response from that. And now we are in the process. I know another county councilor has taken over that and wanting to know. We still don't have a date set that I'm aware of still for the eminent domain. I know that still takes about 45 days to process that before we even can start the road. My concern then is it will not be done, and then pretty much I'm almost positive it will not be done this fall. With that concern, because nothing has been moved, no utilities have been moved. With that concern is also, could we, with not our MAG, if we had a MAG treatment, which we very much appreciated out there, and the road held up very well with the MAG treatment. If it's not going to be done this fall, can we possibly get another MAG treatment put on that road? Because the likelihood of it getting done is probably low at this time because we haven't even moved utilities yet. I mean, I know we can move the utilities on the one side, would be the electrical poles, and we could move because we've got all the landowners on that side. We're just holding out on the opposite side.
Well, I too thought there was a hearing scheduled in June, but I don't think that was the case. I think David has taken that over, and do you have I guess I'd like to ask David to speak on that.
Good morning.
Good morning.
There is a probate case involved in this matter that I need to review. The last title work was updated in December of 2016. I want to make sure that we have the proper parties. I can check the file this afternoon, tomorrow, try to get the matter on file. We have two defendants, there could be a number of parties involved in those two defendants, and then we will proceed. As far as time frame goes, you have frankly a very accurate view. There are required time notices, and I intend to proceed to expedite this process.
Okay. Oh, I was unaware it was a probate deal.
I was not aware of it either.
one of the individuals who is named as the owner passed away, and the probate estate is listed. I'll need to check that to make sure I have all the proper parties involved.
Okay, I was unaware of that.
No,
That does complicate things.
Yeah.
Well, I kind of wondered that, and I
Okay.
had brought that to Mr. Luchin, the effect too, and so, but I wasn't sure, I never saw, I saw just some things happening at the house that were different.
Okay.
So I'm sure but I do know it's in one of the daughter's names, so.
It's
We
just-
checked on that, yeah.
Several
yeah,
names.
Yeah.
So you're talking about 3/4 of a mile of, well, it wouldn't
Probably
be-
half a mile.
It wouldn't be that, it'd be about a half, because
Yeah.
you got asphalt on, or hard surface on each end.
Yeah, with each end, right.
Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's asphalt around.
Right, yeah, it'd be about a half a mile.
Half a mile.
Okay. I guess we could get a price and see on that, because an application rate wouldn't have to be the half gallon per square yard.
Right.
If it's a reshoot, it could be cut back a little bit. I guess we can have David Lujan get a price on that and see
Okay.
where we're at.
Okay. And do you have, from my understanding, you have to figure out all the title work first before you can even go into this, to go into the eminent domain?
Probably more complicated than
Okay.
that.
Okay.
It's
A probate. So it could be tied up for a while, is what you're
I would
saying?
prefer not. I've been asked to get this done as quickly as possible.
Okay, so it's something that we
I know it's
could,
been
yes,
pending longer than, quite frankly, anybody would like to have.
Right.
it pending. So,
right,
gonna move on.
okay. And as soon as that is, because you have to have that completed, from my understanding, you have to have that completed, the eminent domain, you have to present it to a judge, is that correct?
Yes, it goes through the court proceeding.
And then after that, you have to wait about 45 days, is that correct?
Actually, you file, you get a court date, the court appoints appraisers, the appraisers conduct a hearing.
Right.
On their filing of the award, then the county can proceed.
So that, I mean,
But
that,
roughly 45 to 60 days from start to, if all goes well.
right, which we know that what this road unfortunately has not.
Now, I've seen these matters drag out for years. The real issue is, once we get the court order to pay the appraisers, then the county can move on the property.
Okay.
Valuation can be argued related.
But the likelihood of this road getting paved is, I
This
mean.
year?
No, that's what that, and so that's what we're gonna go ahead and look forward into the MAG.
And then, yeah, because as soon as it's, we get the go-ahead on it, we can begin utility relocation.
At least we could get
then.
maybe possibly the utilities moved this year and then have it slated for the spring.
That would
Okay,
probably be your
The best
nearest.
bet.
Yeah, that'd
Okay.
probably be the closest date.
okay.
Commissioner Smith, do you know, are there any cables in that area?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's AT&T, you got a water line, and I'm not sure, I think part of the power poles are in private easement, so I think the county may be responsible for moving them.
Mhm.
And there's a weather siren, outdoor warning siren in the way. That's, of course, we're getting ready to put up a new one anyways, unless that is a new one.
Mm-mm.
Hopefully it's the old one.
I don't think so.
So,
If it's old,
Once we
we can move
acquire
it.
the-
right, we'll do the new one.
Okay,
Okay.
okay.
All right.
I appreciate it.
We'll get a price from Public Works on chemical treatment.
Okay.
And we'll see where we can take the money.
Okay, I sure appreciate it.
I think that would probably be the consensus of this board, that we
Right.
would probably try to do this.
Okay.
Public Works Director, get that price for you, bring it back.
Yeah.
Hopefully we can get it Monday. It's kind of short notice, but if not Monday.
Oh, we can get it by, if I called them right now, I bet I could get it by 9:30.
Mhm.
They're pretty good about it. I mean, it's just so much a square yard, it's a half a mile. I mean, it's just
We'll
basic.
Try to have that for you Monday.
Yeah, all right.
I appreciate all your
All
help.
right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else from the public wishing to speak at this time? Then we'll close that portion of public comment and move on to administrative business. Mark, do you have anything?
I just wanted to give an update on the insurance. We did get numbers back on the competitive process, and through that process, Blue Cross Blue Shield actually lowered their rates down to where they told us it was going to be to begin with.
Okay.
And there's one other entity that's competitive with them. We're in the process of reviewing the how their plans compare to make sure it's a fair comparison. But worst case scenario, the increase would be 7.4%, which is more in line with what they told us it was going to be.
I hope we keep what we got.
Yeah, right.
Well,
So,
because
and that's the plan. Right now, it looks like the Blue Cross plan is a little more favorable. Plus, it's what we already have. We
Right.
don't really want the employees
Right.
to have to go through for $30,000 a year. That's the difference in cost between the two plans. We don't want the employees to have to go through a complete changeover, finding new physicians and possibly new pharmacies. So that's probably going to be our recommendation, but we need just a day or two more just to finish a
Okay.
complete comparison. We're waiting on one.
It's the
number.
same coverage as we have now?
Same coverage.
Everything?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's a 7.4% increase, so that's a good thing.
You also run the risk of a introductory rate offer with a new company.
Which is
also.
typical, so that's,
Yeah.
we're taking that into consideration. Obviously, they might come in trying to get our business with a low quote and then come back and hit us with a big number the following year, whereas with Blue Cross Blue
And this is
Shield,
just a one-year contract?
just 1 year agreement. Yep.
With the way healthcare could be changing, that's probably a wise idea not to get into it.
Mark, did I hear you say the increase would be 7.4%?
That would be that's the higher of the two. One would represent a 6% increase, the other one 7.4% increase, and the total difference is like $36,000 for a year on all employees. So
But that's still a great deal less than what we
yeah,
originally
the
told.
first number they came in at was 23%,
Yeah.
and then they dropped it down to 13%, and then through the competitive process, they decided they could sharpen that pencil a little bit more, and it's down to 7.4%.
That's good.
So that will be with that, and with the discussion item that's on today, the only thing then that would be left, we were kind of holding off on the final budget until we got that number, so we would know how that was going to
Mhm.
impact. With getting that in, we would, I think the only thing left then, again, with today's discussion item, would be the outside agency enhancements. Those would be the only items left for the board to consider. So we'll be asking either, I guess whenever you're ready to discuss that, but we'll probably try to get that on next week if that's.
Yeah, let's do that next week. Let's
Okay.
get through.
We'll put that on next week then for you guys to come in and make a final
Would that
decision on
have to be a work session?
I prefer to have it as a work session, but,
Okay.
and then after the work session, so if we could maybe adjust Monday's agenda to have a work session on that item, does that give you guys enough time to look it over those
Gives us the
enhancements?
weekend.
Okay. Then that way on Thursday, we could possibly have, bring get you guys to vote on moving forward and advertising and getting the budget out there so we can get the
Okay.
hearing set for it.
Well, Monday you would still have a regular session.
Yes.
And then a work session.
Yeah, we'd have a work session at the end just to talk
Fine.
about the outside
Okay.
agencies.
You want to put that on the agenda to be approved then? for
Yes,
Monday?
please.
Okay.
Yeah. And then Thursday
To
would
include
be-
the work session, okay.
And then Thursday we'll bring it back for you guys to give us direction to set the hearing. Is that
Work
okay
for
with
you?
I don't know, I have a meeting on Monday, and I'm trying to work around the meeting right now, and I guess you could go
Well,
on without me.
No, not on a budget. I don't think.
But we could do them both on Thursday.
Hmm.
What time's your meeting?
It's in the morning.
We could do the work session and have the Thursday, have you guys also, we could do it both on Thursday and get your direction.
Okay.
We can do that.
All right.
We'll just do it on
We'll
Thursday.
just put it on Thursday then.
Okay, that'll work.
That work for you, Commissioner?
Well, the only thing I'd like to point out to you on Thursday, we have planning and zoning doing everything they've ever
Yeah.
wanted to
Everyone,
do.
but I think they're not real controversial.
Okay.
I think they're all pretty quick.
Well, especially the cell towers. Those are pretty much a slam dunk. I mean,
Well, I just noticed there were a lot of items.
There is, and like I said, these businesses are, some of
It's
these
fine.
are repeat.
Whatever you
I-
all-
I-
I
Whatever
think
you
that
all
some
want.
of them are just.
We can take a recess and hit it again in the afternoon, Commissioner.
All right,
So, if that works for you gentlemen.
that's fine.
All right, let's do that then.
That's all I had.
Okay.
Janet, when you take up the outside agencies, are they invited back?
No. They've all presented. Um, I don't know if they're, 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 I don't their budgets to you. And so this work session will just be going over if you would like to include their enhancements, you know, because many of them gave you an enhancement that they would like to have for this year. So we'll be going over which one, maybe one partial, you know, whatever the board would like to do. So I don't see it taking a tremendous amount of time since all of the outside agencies have done the presentation.
How much are we over on the budget?
We wouldn't have to be over any necessarily.
So we could approve them all,
Well,
all the
I
enhancements?
think that'll be part of the work session.
Right.
Because, you know, there were some,
As we discussed, what we had presented was without the enhancements, and we had a $0.5 decrease.
Right.
If you allow the enhancements, it's about $0.25. So you would still have about $0.25 decrease from last year's budget. If you funded all of the outside agency enhancements.
So we'd still have a decrease, so.
It'd still be an overall
We
decrease.
could basically fund all the enhancements, and, but is that
and you would
smart?
still have a decrease.
Is that smart to take a decrease?
Well, again, for the work, that's a work session item that we will discuss, but
Because of
the clerk and I's opinion is that we should try to maintain a flat mill levy.
That's what
because
my
that becomes our
opinion
new
is.
baseline. However, as a policy decision for the board, and I know that the discussion last year was to reduce the $0.5 but
because of the tax lid, if we drop it a $0.5, then that's what our budget's going to be, start out next year.
right.
That's exactly right. But, you know, we're gonna go over all of that during the work session, and, you know, just like Doug said, that's why it's important that all three of you be part of it. And I don't think you should. I'm just glad we moved it to Thursday so that you can be here.
I mean,
Yes,
if
ma'am.
the commissioners like, we could do it on a Wednesday or something, not on a regular day. I mean, it doesn't have to be a Monday or Thursday. We could hold this, couldn't we?
Let's look at,
No, you can have a work session anytime.
I think the agenda-
as long as we do an appropriate notice. I don't suspect we'll need.
Well, there's just a Port Authority meeting on Wednesday.
Port Authority, Mark board meetings, personnel
Mark's
committee.
Tuesday, but I thought if we could do something Wednesday, and then that'd give us another regular meeting to hash out anything. Maybe. And just have a work. It's up to you guys. It's whatever you guys want to do. Would you rather do that, Commissioner?
That's fine, whatever you all want. I'm just pointing out, on Wednesday, you do have an LCPA meeting.
Yeah, but that's just down the street.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
Whatever's fine. I mean, it'll work for us staff-wise. We can check schedules and rearrange things if need be. I'm pretty confident.
I'd be willing to come in Wednesday morning and work on it.
That's fine.
That's fine. That'll work. We can.
We'll just have a work session then Wednesday at 9 o'clock, and that would give you still plenty of
Well,
time to go to.
it's, I don't know if Commissioner Holland's schedule would allow that.
Let me look at my calendar.
Okay.
I'm pretty confident we can get it all done on Thursday if we needed to, but Wednesday's fine. If we can work that out with everybody, we can come back Monday, at Monday's meeting, and set a special work session meeting.
Okay,
And
that'll work.
if it won't work with everybody's schedule, then we can just do it all on Thursday. Does that sound okay?
Yeah,
All right.
that sounds fine. Okay. Commissioners had a chance to look at the minutes?
I have read them over, and I make a motion to approve the minutes as stated.
Second.
Voting?
Aye.
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 Okay.
Approve of the agenda.
Yeah, with the work session being added to Thursday.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Voting?
Aye.
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 And can I get a motion on the OCBs?
Is there
I
OCBs?
have some.
I make a motion that the chairman sign and date the OCBs as stated.
Second.
Voting?
Aye.
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 Okay. Sewer District resolutions.
We have a resolution for each one of the sewer districts, and I think they should go into, order
I'd ask that the board consider going into recess as the Board of County Commissioners of Leavenworth County, Kansas, and go into session as the Board of Directors of the various sewer districts of Leavenworth County.
Okay.
I move that we go into recess and go back into session as the Board of Directors of Sewer District 1.
We have to do each one individually?
You
No.
have to approve each resolution
Right.
individually.
Do we
Yes.
have to go into, as a board of director of
Of
each?
all the sewer
But we
districts.
You
do
can just do it
blanket
as
them all?
one
Okay,
motion.
all right, then we'll just start with one. It's on the back.
Mr. Chairman, I believe there was a motion. Was there a second?
Yes.
Voting,
Aye.
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 Uh,
The only thing we didn't state was the different sewer districts that will be
Yeah.
required
No,
to
Commissioner
state
Graber.
each sewer.
At each resolution, we will state
Yeah.
a
Okay.
specific
I just want to make
sewer
that clear.
district. Yes.
Sewer District 1, 2, 3, 5.
Seven.
7, 7B,
Okay. Anyone here wishing to talk about the sewer districts?
I do.
Please come forward, state your name and address.
Larry, last name is Van Fleet, 17818, 57 Terrace Street. Tissues up here, I may need those. I said, there's some tissues up here, I may need those.
Yeah. Oh, and I guess, which sewer district are you?
3.
Sewer District 3?
3. It'll take a few minutes, Doug, and kind of bring you up to speed. I think with you being a new commissioner, I think it's more than fair to give you a little history lesson
Okay.
on it.
I was here for some of the budget hearings. I do know a little bit, but yeah, I do need brought up to speed on that.
I mean, I don't know how you vote on it without knowing, but to start off, we was living a peaceful life out there, Sewer District number 3, and for whatever reason, I've asked 100 times, I've never got an answer why that the county commission chose to, we have a sewer lagoon that's designed for 66 homes. By today's standards, they only let 60 on it, and I don't know why, but for some reason, we have 96 homes on it and a grade school. So guess what? It fails. No mystery there. So KDHE comes along and says, guess what? It's not meeting its discharge requirements, so we got to close it. Now, I don't understand why I'm responsible for that. I would think that if this county commission puts 30 additional homes and a grade school on a lagoon that's only designed for 66, that's what it was permitted for, why don't you guys fix it? You guys are the ones that overloaded it. It just seems logical to me, but that isn't the path that was chosen. So then we choose to engineer 2 routes, an A route and a B route. A route is a gravity sewer line through a piece of private property that's owned by a multi-millionaire, or a simple generic force main, share expenses with the new middle school. A very economical route, will save everybody a ton of money, but at the time, the consensus of the board was, well, let's develop this thing for the future. We could kind of put this Band-Aid on, fix it, get them to the city of Basehor, but it wouldn't give us any benefit for the future. We're stuck then. So the board chose to opt to spend another $500,000, $1.4 million instead of $900,000 take this gravity sewer system through this piece of private property. So for the sole purpose of, so that 54-acre piece of ground can develop. Everybody thought it would help the ground develop. So here we are, shoot, 7, 8, 9 years down the road, and it hasn't developed yet. So I think it was kind of a faulty plan, but anyway, the board chose to spend an extra $500,000. I know, Mr. Holland, you disagree with that.
I do.
But I've asked you 10 times to produce documentation to dispute it, and to date, you have not ever.
Mr. Van
Even
Fleet,
offered.
didn't the county and city of Bayshore and the school districts all give 200,000 toward that
Actually,
for the difference?
Negative.
We gave in-kind services, and we did not charge the property owners anything for doing all the work and labor as part of the thing. And as far as the person that he's referring to as being a multimillionaire, that has nothing to do with it, your wealth. It's not that we were giving them any advantages. They still had to buy or sewer meters, and
Okay.
they were paying the same rate.
But wasn't there each entity putting
Right.
200,000 toward it?
Right,
To make up the difference for the expansion?
right.
Didn't happen.
And I don't think,
That was
I
the
don't know,
plan.
that was the plan, but I don't know that Baser did. But that's not our call. We can't force Baser to give their 200,000.
Did the county give the 200,000?
Yes.
Yes,
Where? Did not.
in-kind
That's
services.
the reason Baser didn't put their money in. I was at that meeting that day when Fred Box called up and talked to Mr. Graber, and Mr. Graber says, "Over my dead body, are we putting any 200,000 in?" So that's when Fred Box said,
I thought we made a payment
We did.
to 20,000 a year.
Right, we did. We made 20,000 a year for 5 years.
3 years.
3 years.
3.
3 years?
20,000
There
a
ain't
year.
anybody knows
So
more
we
about the
gave
sewer
6
district.
No, we
The county
made,
gave
we made
60,000?
80,000 plus in-kind services. So we made our $200,000.
Okay. But the school paid 200?
The school district paid $200,000 up front.
The school board put in 200,000, but they traded those 200,000 in lieu of connections. I can show you right here in the Fonzie where they was supposed to,
Mhm.
you know, their usage of the sewer is 20 connections.
Mhm.
Well, instead of paying for 20 connections like they was supposed to, they put in 20,000 or put in the 200,000 and 2 connections.
Okay.
And
So-
if you want to read through
So
the
they don't,
documents, I can show you the documents where they agreed to do the 20 connections and the 200,000. The 200,000 they agreed to put in because we just spent 45 million on a bond issue to build new schools down there, and they needed to fill classrooms. So they was thinking that would be a great investment to invest in that
Okay.
sewer district to help and send homes to.
Now, the original grade school was the only school that was on this line that you're talking about, this upgrade. Now, the new middle schools, it go on this line also?
It does.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's
So-
the reason for the
Extra connections?
Extra
Okay.
connections.
But so they put,
Expansion.
so basically they did throw 200,000
Right.
toward that, but they don't have 20 connections, they only have 2, so they're
Right.
only responsible for the 2,000 a year.
Right.
Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
Basically traded
But
their.
how do you force the school district to do, you know, we don't have any control over them.
No, we don't.
No.
You don't have any control over them, but what you do is you live up to your agreement with them.
We
You
did
put
live
your
up to
200.
our
No,
agreement.
you didn't.
Yes, we did.
No way. Absolutely.
I sat
not.
there,
So-
I sat there and voted against every one of those.
Then why did we put in 20,000 for 3 years?
We put it in for more than that.
Okay.
I'd like the county clerk to go back and look
Okay.
on the records
Okay,
and see
all right.
how many years.
That's still
we went.
80,000 if you did 4 years.
And then we had the in-kind services.
That was another 15,000. Trust me, Doug, it was 3 years.
15,000, my.
Oh, for the county decommissioning the
Right,
lagoon?
right.
Using county,
To
using the road
decommission
department
it,
to
to
do?
close it up,
Okay,
you know,
okay.
In kinds, it costs more than 15,000 to decommission
Okay.
a sewer.
It cost about 30, but you guys assessed us, you charged us for half of it. You did, Bob. You guys charged us, we got assessed $15,000. We bought all the hard expenses. We bought the line, the pump. You might remember, Doug, I don't know.
I was at some of these meetings. Oh, yeah, we rented equipment to
Right.
decommission. Yeah, I
The
worked
sewer
on that.
district paid for all
I
that.
worked on that job, yeah.
Sewer district paid for all that.
Mhm.
You guys.
We rented a pump, we had to do irrigation,
Yeah.
and we went, yeah.
It was grass seed and fencing, and I don't remember what all, but
Mhm. Okay, and
Anyway.
the city of Basehor, did they put in their 200?
did not.
No.
Nobody, other than the
again-
school district.
And again, we don't have any control over this.
Right.
city.
You do, Bob. It's called an interlocal agreement.
Mhm.
Absolutely, you have control over that.
Mhm.
Do we have control over the city of Basehor on an interlocal agreement?
Well, first of all, you'd have to look at the interlocal agreement and see what it stated.
Right.
And the city of Basehor was willing to put money in exchange that the subdivision out there annex into the city limits. They never did annex in, and the city never did put the money in, but they allowed them to connect and pay the inside the city rate versus the outside the city rate, which was about a 25% savings on the
Mhm.
flow rate.
That
But,
isn't true
they-
either. We
That
paid
is
the-
true, sir.
No, it isn't. We paid the full amount. We paid $4,400 to connect.
Which was the inside rate, not the
No, it's
outside
not.
rate. So, and they continue to pay the inside rate.
Well,
So,
we
but
pay
the
our-
city did not contribute 200,000 because there was not an annexation. The agreement originally was if they annexed, they would pay the 200,000.
We pay, trust me, Doug,
Mhm.
I know more about this sewer district than anybody. We pay in-city monthly rates, 100%, the same as a city resident, but we paid $4,400 instead of $2,900 to connect, 400 and some thousand for 100 of us. I guarantee it, Mark, guarantee it.
Well, you guys aren't paying a lot if you're around $1,000 a year, plus your monthly.
Right, plus our monthly is, Basehor has the highest sewer rates in the state of Kansas.
I guess,
So I guess we close down the schools?
What the heck are you talking about, close down the school?
Well,
the school put in
what are
their
we-
share.
Yeah, what are we gonna do with the, you're wanting us to fund this whole project?
You guys are the one that designed it, Bob, and
I
spent the
know we
extra
designed it.
$500,000 on the dang
I know
thing.
we designed it.
And you guys are the ones that are spending the extra
And
half.
I thought that's why they were gonna, everybody was putting in 200,000.
That's right.
Yeah,
That was the
it was.
case. That was the case.
That was the original plan. We're gonna spend an extra $600,000 to design, to go
To-
that route, but.
to
the
allow for
county,
expansion.
The city and the school
Yeah.
is gonna put in the 200, and 200. So I've got a newspaper article right here where Spicklemeyer said, we're gonna spend a lot more money, but with all the entities going into it, well, the residents that live there now won't pay any more. It was like this win-win-win.
Nobody seems to be snapping up them lots out there.
No, I mean, it's not even developed, it's not even for sale. We spent $500,000 to put a gravity sewer line through a piece of property that's not even for sale.
But there is some additional lots that could come on this, correct?
Well, that 54-acre parcel, if it ever chooses to.
Oh, it's not platted
It's
then.
not platted and it's not for sale, but we had to put gravity sewer. We couldn't put the simple generic force main down 158th Street that
Mhm.
solved the problem. We had to spend
Well, and
1.4
I do
million.
remember them, the design of it was to allow for future growth, and I thought that's why each entity was putting in 200,000.
Well,
That's what I know about.
That was the plan all got sold. The Bay City of Basehor said if Route A is chosen, the school district said if Route A is chosen, we'll put our 200,000 in. Well, guess what? Route A was chosen and nobody put their money in.
Mhm.
And
Commissioners,
now we've been stuck holding the bag. The first
What-
year, it was a half a rate because it was, we only made one payment to KDHE.
Mhm.
Okay, the second year, we filed, we got the full Monty of it all. We got the full bill. The second year of it, so You know, we said, this is the craziest thing we've ever seen, so we filed a lawsuit.
Mhm.
And,
No, I wasn't aware of that.
yeah, we filed a lawsuit, and that's when you guys chose to put the $20,000 a year in. And I was told by our lawyer, through your lawyer, that if we settled this thing with the $20,000 contribution, that you guys would put the $20,000 contribution in until that piece of property develops. And I don't know, Dave Freeman, the guy's a genius, I guess, because he told me, he said, Larry, we shouldn't do this, because I can tell you what's gonna happen. Mr. Graber, he'll forget that we agreed to put the 20,000 in. Mr. Van Paris, he'll deny it. And they'll quit doing it, and then we're gonna be stuck with trying to gather the masses again, to raise the money, to file another lawsuit.
So the 20,000 wasn't just for a 10-year period to get to the 200? It was
No.
till it developed
We was
out
told
there?
until that
No,
54
the
acre parcel
20,000
developed.
was a decision of this board between John Flowers and Clyde Graber.
Okay.
And we decided to do that to reduce the annual assessment against the property owners.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
It wasn't for the 200,000?
No, we'd already taken care of that.
Oh, not even close. And nothing's changed. I mean, the assessment is still the same. So if it was good for years 2, 3, and 4, why isn't it good for years 5, 6, 7, 8, 9? I mean, I don't know why you guys quit contributing the 20,000. Do you, Mr. Graber?
We agreed to do it on a year-by-year basis. We supported it for
4 years.
4 years.
Maybe 3.
3, David, do you remember 3 or 4?
I'd have to check with the clerk.
Okay.
I'd have to check too, but it was exactly what Clyde said, on a year-to-year basis.
Year-to-year basis, based on funds available and if we could do it.
Well, when we settled that lawsuit, Mr. Graber, that is not what we was told.
Mr. Chairman,
I don't think we ever settled the lawsuit.
I'd like to clarify, Mac, that lawsuit was never settled. It was dismissed by the plaintiff with prejudice the day before trial. No
That's
settlement-
not true either.
No settlement agreement was prepared.
Yes, no, because you told us we couldn't have, there was no settlement agreement, because one commission can't bind another commission over. You're gonna have to trust us on this one. Look where we're trusting him got us.
You're incorrect, Mr.
No, I'm not. You're incorrect.
And, how did this differ from Cedar Falls and Cedar Lakes? How did this decommissioning and all that, how's that different? I mean, they're right there next to each other.
Well, I can tell you, the county forces went out and decommissioned that at county expense. They just done it. Gary Diddy was the county engineer at the time. He went and rented a backhoe and they went and done it.
We laid the line.
You guys laid the line.
We did the sewer line. I think I remember that. But I thought we had a contractor decommission the lagoon.
You did.
So that would have been a cost.
That's about the only cost associated with it. That's
Yeah,
why,
their assessment.
what's their assessment? It's a teeny tiny fraction of what ours is. You know, you guys go out and do it and give it to them for nothing, and then instead of taking the most economical route possible, you guys choose the most expensive route possible, because John Flower in the day thought this county was treading backwards and we needed to get into the 21st century and we need to build for the future. So that's why we've built this, I think, crazy gravity sewer line. Spent that extra $500,000.
Well, your assessments are at 716 per connection, and 248 from the city of Basel on your assessments.
Right.
You're up there.
Huh?
You're up there.
Oh, it's crazy. Man, it's for 20 years.
And this is a revolving loan, KDHE revolving loan,
Yeah.
Yes.
so you can't pay it off early. You're stuck with the terms.
Well, one of the problems that we did create or go along with was letting the school sign up with 10 connections, no matter if the school grew and no matter how many kids are there, 10 connections. And
Mr. Graver, it's 2 connections. It's 1 per school.
no, 10 connections was the
They paid
basis.
for 10 connections, but only,
Yeah.
I'm not really following what you mean there.
I remember John Flower bringing in saying that the school was going to be paying for 10 connections, and it was a lump sum payment. Wasn't that right, Janet?
What it is each of the schools pay one debt payment. But what they do pay is additional money to the city of Basehor. They pick up more, is it called connection? You know, more connections than one. One of the schools picks up, I believe, 2 of the connections. The other one does 5. So, but only 1 debt payment.
Per school. Per
But
school.
additional connection fees that
go to the city.
Well, we
base.
all pay the city of Basehor based on our volume.
Mhm.
You know,
Right.
and that's what the school does too. They pay the city of Basehor based on their volume. So there's nothing weird about that. I mean, but they pay the same as I do, the school does. They pay, you guys will send them a bill for that same 700 and
Mhm.
times 2
16.
because they have 2 schools.
Well, that's not necessarily true. One of the schools has an annual cost of $2,138.85. The other school has $4,983. So the schools do pay.
But that's to the city of Basehor, right?
Well, that's the one debt, and then, you know.
We're talking about the construction costs. It's
They only pay
700.
one debt.
They
We
pay
get
the
a
same
lot of
as I.
in-kind services. The county
Okay.
shut.
Well, I'd like to get some more information on this one, because I thought each entity paid $200,000 toward the extra line size or for future
No.
development, but, I
They
mean, I was
didn't.
not following. I mean, and I just got
actually
that, I got that from budget meetings and
Yeah.
different things, and like I said, Public Works did decommission that lagoon. I
Right.
do know that, and I do know I had to go rent a water pump, and we had to go over to Smithville
Right.
Parks and Rec and get an irrigation system. And I know we tracked the cost, and I don't even remember what the cost
Yeah.
was. It was quite a bit less than what the next one.
Well,
But-
Commissioner Holland's correct. We cannot bind the city of Basehor
Right.
to put in $200,000.
Obviously.
And
If they agreed to it, if there was an agreement,
If there was a-
contract, but that never got executed because there were some things that fell out.
Well, it sounded like the terms were if they annex.
That was the
And I,
original.
do we have any of that documentation we can look at?
there wasn't any.
Never
agreement
was.
signed.
There never was.
I mean, we've looked at this for numerous years, and.
Numerous.
You know, that's why Commissioner Holland knows, we cannot go to the city of Basehor and say, give us $200,000.
Right.
Because when it originally was discussed, yes, there was a lot of discussion right here in this boardroom. And,
Mhm.
And actually, I think the city of Basehor, or not the city of Basehor, but the school district did pay their $200,000.
Yes.
and we applied that immediately to.
Right,
The
The
principal.
top of the debt.
right, so that we lowered their payment at that time. I remember that.
That's correct.
Do the math for me. Show me how 200,000 buys 18 connections.
Well, that was just what the board decided. We put that initial payment by the school directly on the debt.
Just to
And it was-
put it right on the debt.
It was an economic
So,
development incentive. It wasn't payment per connection. Here's the document.
That could be,
Here's the
but
document right here.
That's what
It's
we
from
did.
a,
That's what was agreed to
That's what we
at the
did.
time.
It was whether or not it was economic development. We took the money, placed it directly
Okay.
on.
So the county did this with the city of Bayshore without an interlocal agreement or an MOU?
That's correct.
I don't think there was ever an MOU about it.
There's an interlocal agreement, which I'll note was signed on January 20-something. Guess when our public hearings were?
Well, it didn't refer to the city paying $200,000
No.
in that MOU.
Okay,
It-
yeah.
This is, I mean, I think the real point here is that this is all something that happened 8 years ago, 7 years ago. And it was resolved at that time. Whether it was resolved to Mr. Van Fleet's satisfaction or to the satisfaction of numerous people, it was still, that's how it was resolved.
Oh.
There was an
Well, it was
agreement.
resolved, Mark, with the county putting 20,000 a year in it. And for whatever reason, and I don't understand, I've asked 100 times that. Why did you quit putting 100,000 in and nobody will respond to me?
What was the last year the commission made the payment of 20,000? Do you know?
We did not last year.
Or the year before?
That was the only, I think that
The
was.
year
the last-
before, Mr. Graber, you guys
15.
added us to the agenda the day of, which that's craziness there.
The 2015 was a payment made, or was it 14?
14.
14 was the last payment?
I don't, I really would have to review that.
I could, that's.
All right, well-
I mean, I honestly don't remember, but
I do.
Okay.
I don't think we've made that the last 2 years.
That is
Okay.
correct. You are right.
So,
And last year, you
So by
guys never
doing
even
it-
done a
by doing it
resolution.
The last 2 years.
There is no
that's the
sewer district
timeline.
resolutions for 2017 or done in 2016.
well,
Which I don't really
I
think
thought
we
we
will.
were, I thought we were having public hearings on sewer, or,
We are.
then I thought, well, I mean, we didn't advertise it as a public hearing. We're
not.
discussing as a resolution.
Right, it's not a public hearing. Public hearing would be
Um,
required if we were.
And I guess I thought we had public hearings every year on sewer districts.
No.
we're
Okay.
not required to
We're
have
not
public
required.
hearings.
But we've had them in the past.
Or we did in the
No.
past.
Yeah.
We did in the past, but up to a point. Once it was set at the certain level, then we no longer had public hearings.
That's correct.
So if there's no increase in
Right.
rates, there's no
No.
reason to have a public hearing.
No.
Yes, sir, Mr. Van Paris?
Once the assessment formula for the revolving fund is set, then there is no longer a need for a public hearing,
Okay,
and that matter has been accomplished.
okay.
Well, it was accomplished before too, but it's changed
So-
from no 20,000 a year input.
Was there a public hearing on that one then, when you didn't put when you quit the?
Yes,
Have,
yeah. We had to.
Right.
When
We were
was it?
mandated to. Now we're not.
15.
When, do you remember?
Well, before I tell you what, I think it was in the fall that we finally had that, right before we went,
It was December 21st, after taxes went out.
not,
Now,
I'm
if you
talking
guys
about
wanna
the
call that a fair
prior, I'm
hearing.
talking about the prior year, Larry.
Well, the prior year we had it. Actually, that was the prior year. Last year, there's no resolutions, Janet.
That's correct. We
Why
just
weren't
did
there
it
any
in-
resolutions last year?
I couldn't tell you. I don't know. I think it was
Do you
all
know,
done
Mr. Graber?
through the
Mr.
budget
Van
process.
Paris, can you tell us why?
Commissioners, I think it was done through the budget process.
Okay. Well, I'd like to get some more information on that, if you don't mind. Get brought up to speed on this a little bit. I mean, I thought the 200,000 each entity covered the cost of that, to where we allowed for future growth.
Here's what should have happened, is when the 200,000 ceased to become when it was no longer forthcoming, then that route should have been abandoned and they should have went with the
Mhm.
$900,000 route. But no, we didn't do that. We marched right on with the 1.4 million instead of the $900,000 route.
Okay. Well, I would like some more time on threes. I mean, and
What is it that you want?
Yeah, I was gonna
the
say, there's,
documentation of,
I mean, the
you said,
documentation I'm all right with, but we can't do anything about that now because it's already been set.
well, we
I
haven't
think-
signed this resolution yet.
I think David will agree to that.
Mr. Chairman, if you were to change the assessment formula for sewer district number 3, you would need to open it up for a public hearing, which would require publication and mailing to the people affected.
Well, that's fine, let's do that. We've got this here state statute that I think as a county commission, you guys have an absolute obligation to follow. And I can tell you, in my opinion, Mr. Graber, you guys aren't following
There what?
the state statute that you guys follow.
The county followed the state statute.
Have we followed it?
Yes, we did.
It says, we would like for you to, it'd be nice if you did. It says you must assess according to benefit received. Now, if you can explain to me how I receive any benefit from that $500,000 that you're assessing me for, I don't receive any benefit from it. That's money that you guys chose to voluntarily spend for pie in the sky in the future. That money should be on you guys. You guys should pay for that $500,000. If you want to do it to incent development,
So you're
go
saying,
for it, but put it in the dang economic development budget. Don't assess me for it.
Well, and I was under the impression that's what the 200,000 from each entity was.
Was.
I think our portion has been paid. I think it's not us. And he's trying to get all the money out of us, even though
Well-
the city of Basel didn't do
I
their.
don't think the city of Acer ever came up with
No,
theirs.
I don't think so either. In fact, I know
Mr.
they
Graber, the
did.
reason they didn't put their money in, I was at that meeting in Baser, was because you said you would never put money in the sewer district.
I don't
So the
believe
city of
Clyde
Baser
would say
said, they're not even our people. Why are we putting money in the sewer district when the county won't even put their own money they promised in?
But to put 20,000 in for 3 or 4 years. So, and that was
To reduce the annual assessment.
that wasn't toward the 200,000.
that.
Was
No,
that
it was to
considered
reduce
toward-
their debt.
It was not towards, there was no mention of $200,000. The board at that time just decided to put $20,000 in, exactly what Commissioner Graber said, to reduce the debt.
Okay.
So why did you quit?
Well, if the chairman wants time to review this, we can delay this action until Monday or
Monday'd be fine. If I can just get,
It's
all
gonna
the
be-
history of when the 20,000 for 3 or 4 years was paid and why it stopped and
I don't think there was.
just the interlocal agreement or an MOU or whatever you had with Basin.
No, it was just,
Gentleman's agreement.
no, it wasn't even, there was no agreement there.
No.
It was
It was
just, it was brought up.
motion to make
There
a
was a
There
motion
had to be
Motion.
something for the
annually
city of Basin
to reduce
take
the
sewer.
assessment.
I mean,
Exactly, just like Commissioner Graber said.
What did you say just now, Mr. Graber? What did you just say? He said just like you said, but I didn't hear it.
I said that we voted in those 3 years to reduce the annual assessment for that year by $20,000,
Right.
divided among the residents. It was not a permanent.
Well, when we dropped the lawsuit, Mr. Graber, that's what we was told, that it would be forthcoming until that piece of ground developed.
And where did you
Where's-
pick that up?
From our attorney told us that.
Where's his documentation? Is there a contract? There's an MOU? I mean, what? Where is it?
I just explained that, Mr. Conlon, to you. That we was told that you can't do that because one commission can't bind another one over.
That's right, and so it can't be done.
But that doesn't mean you can't promise it and live up to your word.
Well, there has to be something with the city of Basehor and the county for this to come together that they would take this. There has to be some kind of an interlocal agreement or an MOU.
There's an interlocal agreement, I've got it right here.
Okay.
It doesn't mention the $200,000 though.
It doesn't mention it, but it also, but it mentions the school district and 20 connections.
Okay. Well, I would like at least a weekend to look at all this stuff, if that's all right with you, Commissioner.
So we're not gonna vote on this?
Well, not on 3. I mean,
We need to do them all or nothing.
I think
David,
sewer
do we have to
district,
vote on all, or can we eliminate 3 for?
You can go ahead and do the resolutions for the other sewer districts, if that's what the board wishes. Or we can bring them all back.
well, is anyone else here to speak on any other sewer districts? Seeing none.
I think sewer district number 3 needs to be completely reassessed. Like the school district needs to have their 20 connections, like they agreed to. I think the piece of private property that benefits immensely from having a sewer line run through it. What do you think the property value is there with sewer district, without? I mean, it's,
Mr. Van Paris?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Chairman, I'm not unsympathetic to the people who have to pay the cost of these programs, but the course of action that's being proposed by Mr. Van Fleet would undoubtedly stretch into years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, like I said, I'd just like to get brought up to speed on this. I mean, I just thought the county put in the money in Basehor in the school for the difference.
Right.
I was always under that impression.
the state statute that I was referring to earlier, it spells out clearly. I mean, it couldn't be any more clear, even for somebody that doesn't simple as I am. That they suggest you either do it by square foot per sewer district or per appraised value per sewer district. It doesn't even mention connection in there. Now, it does say any other means that are fair and equitable, but there's nobody, I mean, nobody that would think the way you guys have assessed it, with the school paying the same as a house. There's, shoot, I think 350 kids in the grade school and quite a few more in the middle school over there, and they pay the same as I do. They pay $700 a year for it. That's not fair and equitable.
Mr. Van Fleet.
And for that house, for that 54-acre piece of ground, who now has sewer line through it, and it's gravity sewer line, so it can be connected to pay nothing. I mean, they don't pay anything. Every other sewer district that's in this thing, any vacant lot pays. They pay half. So why don't we reassess it and at least get them to pay half?
Do you know how many homes that this line will handle now?
I do. It's 225.
Okay.
How many did you say?
225.
2, yeah.
And you have 6, or you got 90 some on it?
96.
96 on it now?
There's actually,
5 or something, Larry.
no, there's 96 homes and 2 schools. So there's 98 assessments
Mhm.
against it, but, you know. the
So it has
schools-
room to double then?
Right.
Yeah.
You can double capacity. Okay.
So if we want to do it by connection, I'm one.
Mhm.
I'll take that all day long. Charge me one of 225, what's wrong with that?
Mhm. Okay.
Well, Chairman, I would move that you review this over the weekend and bring it back to us on Monday or Thursday, whichever
Okay.
you.
I'll be able to get everything I need today and tomorrow on the history of this?
There's quite a file down there in Public Works.
Okay. Public Works is where it's at? I need to
Yes.
get, okay. All right.
And I'm sure Janet has some.
Well, I just have, you know, the debt information, but the actual file is in Public Works because it has been reviewed
Okay.
numerous times.
All right.
You guys have to ask yourself why this keeps coming up every year and it's such a disaster.
Mhm.
It's because, you know, Mr. Van Paris says it could take years to reassess it, but if you guys would have done it right to begin with and followed that state statute, we would have done it one time and been done with it. But for some reason, we decided we
Well,
wanted to cheat it.
hopefully there's some kind of an agreement with Baser, MOU or an interlocal agreement.
Well, there's an interlocal agreement, but all it describes is the route.
Okay.
And what their function will be after they receive the sewage.
Okay.
You know, it doesn't describe.
Well, I'm sure that
anything else.
file's got minutes of meetings and whatnot in it that led up to all this. And pledging the 20,000 for the 3 or 4 years.
Free.
3.
Mr. Chairman, there's a trial brief prepared that puts this all in order. I'll make sure you get a copy of it.
Okay, I'll take anything you guys got on this. So, all right,
Okay.
thank you. Anyone else from any of the sewer districts? Don't see any. Is there anything on these other districts that's unusual or changed or?
We did increase some of the annual maintenance on sewer district 1, 2, and 5. And the reason for that is the grinder pumps were going out and that cost has increased, and so we had to increase their assessment for their annual maintenance. Those are with lagoons, those specific.
I guess Trevor, my question is Trevor, are we gonna have any of these lagoons being decommissioned in the future?
We talked to Trevor a little bit about that, and he did not foresee, but that's another reason why we raised some of that annual maintenance.
So are we putting money in reserves in for
We don't have
future?
reserve funds, but we try to have some kind of carryover. Actually, sewer district number 1 was probably the one with the least carryover. But each one of our others do have.
Carryover.
We do have a reserve for decommission and
Well, it's
perhaps some
I don't
reserves.
think it's for decommissioning. I think it's just for
For
repairs and maintenance.
Well, if KDHE would come in and say, you're at capacity, you need to come up with a plan for decommission, like, what do we got down there? We got Ginger Creek subdivision, which is pretty close to the city of Baser. And I don't know how many years is left on that. Is that something Trevor could answer?
They all 3 got inspected within the last year.
Okay.
They're all-
KDHE gave us some things to fix on all 3 of them, but has not given us a time frame when they would require them to be decommissioned. And we asked that question, and they said they have they're not pursuing decommissioning of the lagoons at this time.
Do they inspect them every year?
No.
5 years.
Every 5? So you think we got 5 years before we have to deal with any
Another inspection.
or decommission?
Right, and, a new administration could come in and say they don't like lagoons anymore, and they could start pushing the ball to decommission, but as of right now, they are not.
Okay. But is there a possibility to build reserves, to have money to put in a line, decommission the lagoons and all that, so it's not such an impact to the homeowners? Is that possible?
Well, it would be an impact now or an impact later. So to build the reserves, we'd have to start charging more on an annual basis and setting that money aside. So I think one of the increase that they've proposed this year is just to try to get to the point where we need to be to maintain
Okay.
the systems because the cost of maintenance is going up as they age. In order to start setting money aside, we would have to increase the rate significantly, probably. It's one of those things
I'll
that just
just say,
started.
Doug, back in the day, that happened to us years before, and that was deemed illegal. And
Okay.
we was all giving our money back, because it
Oh.
was assessed. Jan will probably remember that. It was all
Okay.
assessed money to start building a nest egg, so when it came time, there was the money there, and then at the end of the day, I think it was J.R. Evans that filed a lawsuit, or at least brought some lawyers involved, and they determined that it was illegal.
David?
Tax fraud.
You were allowed to assess for a revolving loan fund payment for operation and maintenance. The county at some point in the past did choose to start building, as you'll refer to it, a nest egg for decommissioning, and that was deemed to be illegal. And that money
Okay.
was refunded.
Okay, well, just kind of like the roof on the Justice Center, it'd been a lot easier to put money aside every year. Time for replace the roof, we would have had it instead of having to raise the mill levy last year.
Mr. Chairman, I'm probably the last person you ought to ask for financial advice, but one thing we may want to do is to continually check with KDHE as to the availability of the revolving loan fund, because that offers an opportunity to spread out the cost of the decommissioning.
Okay, but we're tied into this one for 20 years.
Well, it's, I don't know how many years it's been used.
Probably 5, 6,
6 years you've been paying.
start about 11.
That's about right.
Okay,
And it's got till, Sewer District 3 has till 2031 till it's paid off. So it's a 20-year loan. Sewer District 7 started in 07 and has till 2027.
and what's the interest rate on it? Does anybody know off the top of their head?
Well, I know what the payments are. The interest payments are. I don't know what the rate is.
I believe so.
Oh. Sewer District 7 was,
Commissioners, we did look into refinancing. I believe it's either 2 or 2.5%.
Right.
That we're paying right now?
Yes, sir.
And you
Right.
couldn't,
2.32% and 2.47. So we,
It's pretty low
that's a good
now.
rate.
We did look to try to refinance and could not justify it.
Okay.
A lot of people would like to borrow money at that rate.
Sure would have like 25 years ago.
Yeah.
But, okay, all right, so if nobody else is here on any of these other sewer districts, is there
this
any,
would,
just the maintenance cost?
Right.
And we're not,
when you sign the resolution, it is only for annual maintenance.
mm-hmm,
Right.
okay.
Okay, so, do they need to do the resolutions?
They're still board of directors. They should stay in the board of directors of the sewer districts and do each sewer district separately.
So, do you want me to go, do you want to go ahead and proceed with the other?
Well, if there's no other problems with any of them,
With the
nobody's
other
here.
ones, why not?
Let's do that.
So we have resolution 2017-39. This is a resolution of the Board of Directors of Sewer District Number 1 pursuant to the provisions of KSA 19-27A09, adopting and implementing the fiscal year 2018 budget for said district. This will be an annual cost, built lots $709, vacant lots $234. So we just would need a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Voting,
Aye.
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 We have resolution 2017-40 for sewer district number 2 with the same provisions of KSA 19-27A09. Built lots will have an annual maintenance tax of $484, vacant lots $234.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Voting?
Aye.
Aye.
We have resolution 2017-41. This is for sewer district number 5 with the same provisions of KSA 19-27A09. That's only built lots, and it is $484.
Per lot. I move approval.
Second.
Voting?
Aye.
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 We have resolution 2017-42. This is for sewer district 7A, which is Cedar Lakes. This has an annual maintenance that goes to the city of Basel of $370.37 per lot, and an annual debt of $200.81 per lot.
I move approval.
Motion, or second.
Voting?
Aye.
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 We have resolution 2017-43. This is for sewer district 7B, which is Cedar Falls. It has an annual debt service of $21.32.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Voting?
Aye.
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 And we will bring sewer district number 3 back
Monday'd be fine.
Monday.
I'll look at everything this weekend.
Thank you.
I just have a question on all those vacant lots were being assessed.
Uh-huh.
Why aren't the vacant lots down in Arbor being assessed?
Because they're not lots. They're not,
It's not platted?
no, it's not platted. It's farm ground.
Why did you put sewer on 13?
I didn't have I wasn't here when they put the sewer line, but I was there right after. And I guess they put it the most direct route.
No.
I bet it'll be platted though when this is paid off.
It was platted before.
Oh, it is
then
platted?
withdrawn.
Oh, okay.
And it's funny, if you do the math, there's 225 connections there.
Yeah.
And for years, we was basing it on 117, 97 homes and 20 foot sewer. And that was platted originally in the day for 108. It's no mystery that equals 225.
We even looked into the idea of when they did sell it, even after it was done,
Mhm.
just like you made the comment, I
Mhm.
bet they'll be platting it then.
Mhm. You can't
We
do that.
even looked at charging them then.
Mm-hmm.
Can't do it.
No. Okay. I guess had it been like a benefit district, maybe something like that. I don't know. Like that. I just thought the county and the city and the school paid $200,000 each to offset the future growth.
Well, not all of us did.
Okay. Okay. Well, like I said, I will get as much information as I can and look at it, and we'll bring this back Monday. All right? Are we ready to go out of sewer
David.
district?
Needs.
Mr. Chairman, members of the commission, I apologize. Yes, you need to adjourn as the
Yeah.
Board of Sewer Districts, and reconvene as the Board of County Commissioners.
I move that we adjourn as the Board of Sewer Districts and reconvene as the Board of County Commissioners.
Second.
Voting.
Aye.
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 Yes, sir, Ms. Ramperries?
Mr. Chairman, in last week, due to various things, I owe you a written report on your sales tax projects. I'd like to give you a very quick verbal report. Both economic industrial parks are proceeding. The Leavenworth Industrial Park project was awarded It does contain a liquidated damages clause with respect to any completion date after June 30th, 2018. So that matter should be proceeding. The Tonganoxie Industrial Park, mass grading proceeds, weather permitting. They are moving dirt out there. And the city of Tonganoxie is actively seeking tenants for that park. 147th Street, the appraiser's hearing will be conducted next week. Or, excuse me, 147th Street, we are moving with the utility
Right.
relocation. We're hopeful to have that done to where we can begin completion of the, initiation of the utility relocation by November to mid-October. East McIntyre, the MOU was approved with the city of Lansing. We have 2 parcels that we will acquire next Wednesday and then proceed with the utility relocation on that. Eisenhower Road Improvement Project proceeds apace.
I believe 147th is closed today because of utility relocation, so it's starting to get underway.
Did you say the bid has gone out for the Tonganoxie Industrial Park?
Yes.
Did it come under bid or over bid or?
Significantly underbid. The low bid was Hout, $1,271,548.50.
That surely wasn't for the whole park.
That's just for the mass grading.
Right, okay.
Anything else on that? Sounds like everything's moving.
Your revenue projections look good. I'll give you a better report next week, but so far the sales tax projects are moving apace, and I think with positive impact.
Okay. You look to go out for bid on McIntyre this year yet, I'm sure. September, October, maybe?
And we have a contractual obligation with the city of Lansing to put this matter out for bid within 90 days. We believe we will meet that deadline.
Okay, that's good. Hopefully the bids will come in like all these other projects.
We can only hope.
Yeah, okay. Any questions of David? Well, thank you, David.
Thank you.
Only thing I might mention, or like to ask Mark, how are we coming on the group working on solving the problems with the sunflowers? Are we? Because it was on the front page of Kansas City Star this morning, so I thought maybe, you know.
Well, I mean, the problem's not with the sunflowers, obviously. It's with all the folks who want to come and see the sunflowers.
Right. I guess let me rephrase that
Yeah,
then. Have we came up with a traffic plan, I guess?
We have a proposed traffic plan. Our Public Works Director sent that out to some of the other entities involved for feedback. My understanding is he hasn't gotten any feedback from it just yet. We're working on signage and some things like that. But as far as a resolution, unless we can establish a parking area down there that'll handle 50 to 60,000 cars at a time, we probably are going to remain to have issues in that part of the county when these sunflowers are going. We're trying to do our best to mitigate that, and then we're going to have a plan of action in place if it becomes a health or welfare or safety issue.
Right.
We'll have a plan in place for that too.
Right.
So we're moving forward. It's just
Okay.
there's nothing finalized. I think we're still waiting for KDOT to give us some feedback on the.
I know this is very challenging, but I'm sure our staff and other agencies can come up with a solution. We want these people to come and spend their money in our county, so.
That would be good.
Yeah.
I mean, if we could get 100 and some thousand people from outside the county to come into the county and spend money, I'm not sure that there's a.
Do they
I'm not sure that there's
spend any
actually a
money?
correlation with the sunflowers and increased spending in the county.
Well, if we make the route to get there through Leavenworth,
If we can-
Lansing,
if we can
Tonganoxie,
extend that route,
Pacer, loop it around
yeah.
like a maze.
You could have a.
That's a good
So,
idea.
One of those, when you're driving down the road and they say, this route's a historical route, or this route's a scenic view route.
Scenic sunflower
We need a
route.
scenic view route that they must take
Yeah.
downtown of all the cities.
Well, I have faith in our staff that they'll come up with something. But just
And
want
we
to
s-
let
and we
know
still
that
might
it was
have-
on the front page of the Kansas City.
If we routed them all the way around the county and through every city, we still may have a traffic backup issue.
Oh.
Well,
Where does that start?
It's a little later than this.
Labor Day.
Yeah, it's later because
Labor
it's
Day.
too,
Last year, but I
it's
couldn't-
too early. Yeah,
It's too early. That's why they're not up yet, so we're trying to
They just
get a
planted.
plan.
Just planted them last week, I think.
Right, so.
You never raised sunflowers? What's the matter? Your dad didn't want to?
I guess not.
I believe we have another sunflower patch in your district.
Uh-huh.
We went and saw that.
Yep, so anyways, Commissioner Hall, are you gonna be able to go to that JCAB meeting today?
No, I am not. I
Okay.
have a meeting. I told Becky already, and she has responded to them.
Okay.
I did talk to Judge Gibbons, and he is not going to be able to go either. He has court.
Okay, and I won't be able to attend either, I'm sorry, but this was
Yeah.
rescheduled.
Right, so, I mean,
Okay,
I think they,
well, I'm sure they'll email us
Right.
everything we need.
okay.
All right, well, thanks anyways.
Mhm.
We have anything else, Mark, at this time? Okay, motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Voting.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.